Welcome back to RamRods Reacts. This is season 2. We're following the first World Cup in Antalya, Turkey. I'm Joe Fanshin.
I'm Josh Smith.
And today we are jumping right into the India versus China Recurve men's team gold match. And we'll be providing some commentary and reactions for y'all. So buckle up.
Let's get into it.
All right, so we got Atanu Das. He's been on their team for, I think, quite a while. Decent amount of experience. But pretty good up-and-coming Indian team overall. We've seen a lot of improvement from their athletes. And this is an interesting wild card. We got some sick glasses, first of all. I think that's one of the best put-together glasses games from teams we've seen. But China has been off the World Cup the last couple years. Right, so seeing them come back for the first time and making some big matches is pretty interesting.
Showing up in 2 of the gold medal team matches.
All right, let's see the wind conditions we got here. Lighting. Looks like they're facing the sun a little bit. That can be a little tricky, that first end, to get dialed in.
Now, coming back from being away from the World Cup stage for several years now to then returning all of a sudden, do you think that's an advantage or disadvantage? In one sense, you've had a lot of time to train, no distractions, you're just working on your craft a little bit at home. But on the other hand, you haven't been out and tested necessarily in an international stage in quite a while.
Yeah, I think that's both the ends. You're not traveling, you're not really getting tired, you're just kind of focusing on your craft, and I suppose your team and your contingent is determining like their trajectory or their any training changes, strategy changes. But it's hard to tell what'll happen. I think it probably helps them a little bit not being, or maybe a lot of the athletes not having Korea here, the first World Cup. I think that's a big kind of underlying issue of a lot of people feeling really motivated for this this new season. Obviously, getting close to the Olympics again, World Championships this year. So they're all probably feeling pretty hungry at this first tournament that they can take some hardware home. Some long side rods on this one. I don't know if he's got an extension on those side rods or not. All right, so not a strong start for India. They had that one low 8. Got some power from the Chinese coach. Oh, okay. Not great. Like young kids. Have to go back and check how they ranked. I assume if they're making it to the men's gold medal match here, they probably did pretty well, but I'm curious to see some scores. Ooh, there we go. Okay, 2 10s for this guy.
That is an X10.
I think I like his glasses the most. The other ones
they're all a statement for sure.
All right, plenty of time. I presume their archers were shooting pretty quick. All right, so a little high left, a little right for the lead archer, but the middle one is dialed in.
55 is a solid start, though.
Yeah, well, I got to remember, too, this set system here. So they, almost closed that out. 29 to tie for India. Ooh. Atanu's left and right. Pretty dialed in, but they need some 10s.
It doesn't matter if you shoot a 9.9 or a 9.0. They both add up to the same score.
All right. Give him a chance.
10 to tie?
Yeah, it could be a big pivot in the match here.
He makes it possible for Tarundeep right here to get a tied score in the set.
Oh, I saw that just little reaction on the release, trying to bring it back to the right. That's unfortunate. All right, well, they've had their chance. Now they got to do some work.
Up on the line, it's Atanu Das.
His float is decent, but he's just a little off. 9.6 and in every time, but Also saw maybe a little drop of the bow arm to bring that down. Oh, damn. That's unfortunate. He was the one who got the 10 last end. Thought he might have been getting more dialed in, but this is not a good position if China is able to pull even like a
So as we're looking
55
at
out
Rai
again.
here, you mentioned his Olympic appearance in Tokyo.
No bueno.
But what stands
Unfortunate.
out to me most of all is that he was also
You see anything with the
Olympian
conditions that might be leading you to
Athens
think
in
this is...
2004 already.
I mean,
He's, 39
It
years
is a
old.
bit hard to tell what the wind's doing. They don't have a lot of flags we can see here. It did look like some wind going left based on what the flags behind them are doing, but I do know that Antalya is pretty notorious for having complicated wind conditions that can be a little bit tough to shoot in on the World Cup stages.
India shoots at 24, which is
Did look
normally
like
a very
the
high
flags to
score
the right side of the
in
field are moving quite a bit.
I think China
Yeah, I
just
can't
needs
tell if
to
they're on the beach
continue
again.
their
I
momentum
think
and
normally they
continue
had,
their
or a lot of times,
convincing shots, which
this
is
guy's
exactly
dialed.
what they're doing.
He's carrying the team.
3 in a row.
Not
A lot of kisser
think like,
buttons
oh, they've only
being
shot
used
Yeah.
by
24, so we can
both
take
teams
it.
here, it
Because
looks like.
if India were to shoot 3 10s, for instance, that adds up to a 9 average. And if you shoot only 9s because you're too relaxed in your
Comfortable
head,
shot, good
have
group,
tight
not in the
spacing.
10,
You
but
always need
they're
to be,
doing what they need to do, and they're already
you know,
4
on
points
point.
ahead on 3 arrows.
And
Yeah, and their
you
body language is looking very relaxed for China.
Yeah, you mentioned
Yeah, I don't
it,
see the archers getting
um,
blown too much as far as...
but
Yeah.
it's such a mental game, isn't it? And
They look
the
fairly
communication
stable.
between the athletes, is obviously critical in the team.
It's not gonna
competition.
get it
I understand
done.
what you're effectively saying.
Maybe a little bit of
We
a
don't
weaker
need
shot.
our
He looks
absolute
pretty
everything.
comfortable
As soon as
overall,
you
but
allow your performance to dip,
they need to just start relaxing and trying to drill some of
Yeah,
these in the
and
middle.
it
They got
shouldn't
one
really
more
make a
chance
difference,
after this.
what the opponent shoots for your approach to
Ah.
the set. Because
Grouping
you
is
should
just
always
not
be
good.
aiming for the highest score. But there is a danger in thinking, oh, but they've shot X amount of points, so we can maybe take it easy. Even though there is no real benefit of taking it easy, except for maybe that it's more comfortable mentally.
That is not going to give them confidence going
You
into
need
the
to, especially in a finals venue
the-
like this, you
the
need
third
to
end
keep
here.
going, and you need to try to push the envelope a bit.
I mean,
well, to some extent, it's even more difficult now because
a 50 for 6 arrows is
almost.
It's tough.
It-
They were all shooting above that level in qualification. I don't know what the scores
Yeah.
were, but we can guarantee that.
yeah.
And China's just grouping. They're putting them in there.
Still,
But beauty of the set system is India does have a chance to still come back and win the whole thing. They just need to have a really solid final ending comeback here.
Yeah, they just haven't managed to put much pressure. I mean, they got a
risk.
little lucky. Dang, this
Wow.
guy's shooting good.
Is that a 40? That's a 40 for
Yeah.
the match.
Yeah.
Aim off to a
Well
one side
done.
or the other
Making it
to,
easy.
Get the arrow to hit the middle. But if you're unsure how far you need to aim off, you can kind of split the difference and just hit a decent score rather than go all or nothing.
I mean, he's
Good
carrying
end.
his teammates.
Good end.
Should be giving him a hard time a little bit. They're all shooting, pretty good, middle nines, and grouping well,
He
but
is gonna shoot later
he's
on in
carrying the team right
individual
now, and they're
round, so
cruising.
You'd expect him to shoot really well. So, there's a little bit of struggle here.
Oh, man, he's close.
Das starts the third set for India.
India with only 110 so far.
Dominant set for the Indians. They have
Just need to relax and let these things
after these 6 arrows.
work their way into that 10 ring on their own. They're obviously capable of it. There we go. Okay.
That is
Okay.
a dead center. That probably feels good.
That's what
Hopefully they
need.
feel like they're getting a little bit of momentum back here to at least put up a
As far
fight.
as
I think if they can push
know,
like a 56 this
Indian team
end,
hasn't really
I
shot with
think
each other
that gives them a
before.
real chance to
Atanu Das had
just
a
put a
year
little bit of doubt
which he
in
didn't
Chinese team's
have any
head.
showings on the World Cup circuit last year.
Oh, there we
Very
go.
nice.
Okay.
Very nice. Good
All
recovery.
right. This is what we want to see, a little bit more of a
And
match.
that's what you need to do when you have the set system. You can shake the last end off and just go crush it the following end, and you're still back in the game.
Yeah.
It's always
Yeah.
difficult, or it's
Definitely
it's a
didn't look
challenge
as
to
smooth
get
or
the team
confident
just up
in
and
their
running
grouping on the
immediately.
last end, but
Yeah.
There's
that
as well.
is going to change what China is thinking a little bit. Now, this guy's getting dialed a little bit. It's his first 10. Maybe not first 10, but definitely
It's a different
great
story
shot
for
there.
The,
this guy hasn't missed
team
yet,
to
so
manage now as,
Hasn't missed yet.
does anything change? Having India shoot a 29?
1 point off the potential maximum.
Yeah. So what?
No,
Ooh, still
sir.
gets
He's
it.
in there.
On the line. Little shakier maybe than
Can
his
see
other ones.
China's bringing the energy up, a little more hype
Finally, the score
this
that they
end.
wanna shoot, and then if China betters them
Probably in
the
response
first
to knowing they're up
rotation,
against the
it's
29
gonna
now.
be, a difficult thing to handle mentally for the Indian team.
That didn't look like the greatest shot, but his body language was under
Yeah,
control.
it was good enough to get it in there. Looks like
Yeah.
just a little bit relieved there, dropping the 30 to the 29.
Yeah. Yeah.
Trying to keep that level.
All right, India. Now your job is just to push. Don't have to be a hero here, but nice and smooth. No.
Gave it a little bit hard to tell. That looked
That's
probably
so close.
out.
I
That
feel
looked
like
probably
World
out.
Archery
Hit the line.
usually would not call that in.
Yeah.
Called for a
Maybe US
measure.
Archery would.
That's what the asterisk is for. That could be marked up to a 10.
That looks smooth.
Got it.
That's in there.
Nice
Okay.
shot.
The level has definitely been brought up and matched a little bit on both sides. This
like
this
it.
end.
Keep it rolling. Close the door. Nice
And
shooting.
that will do.
There you go.
That will do. 58.
One or two
Definitely
nines,
not
but
pleased with the last end, and now they're
both 2-9s are very close
bringing
to
it back to the level they're
Recurve
capable
is
of.
phenomenal, but now
That's all you can do,
you have to
dude.
keep in
Now
mind that
it's on China to see
has
how
to
they
have to
respond
shoot a
here.
28 or 29 to tie the set.
Ooh,
There you go,
that's a
10.
good
They've just
start.
been getting better in
These
the-
kids
in
are
the
shooting
final,
good,
so
man.
Ooh.
India has done all they can at least.
This guy gonna shoot a 60?
Wonder if that measure is going to become important.
Nope.
Just a hair out.
It really does
Shooting
now.
super solid this whole match, though. No big mistakes.
Yeah. So there's, I mean, still, this is a huge moment for them now. India had the first pivotal moment in the
Will
first
win
end.
this, even
Tend to
if
close the door outright.
they're marked up. Puts
Doesn't
into
do
the
it.
line.
It's
How important is
funny.
this?
Sometimes you're cruising, and then sometimes you just need to put it together. And
They're still trailing India.
so that means that counted that in.
Themselves back in the match though with the set points from set number 3.
Oh damn!
Yeah.
First in set number 4.
Looks like
They counted
did.
that in.
That was in.
Crucial. That's his first one in. He finally got it.
So
He was
Atanu,
grouping
Got it.
well.
broken his curse of only shooting 9s, and he's now starting to shoot 10s, it seems.
Nice shot. You just see the confidence coming back. Just frustrated before, and now the energy is way different. And little long. Okay. A little bit of a falter, but if you falter and get a 9.4, you'll take it if your teammates are crushing. All right. China has their work cut out again. Another 29 leadoff by India.
Interesting to see how China hold their nerve now.
Not a bad shot, but I feel like
So
those
far,
were
China's
going in
only had
earlier.
one arrow stray out of the goal, I think. Which
So
leads
this
me to
guy,
believe
that
they
could have made a difference
are
too.
quite
If
good
he
at
had cleaned,
holding their
they
nerve.
would have been done.
It's all his fault.
Well, sometimes you're the high scorer in your team, and sometimes you're low score, and sometimes you need to shoot better than you ever have
As a reminder for
to
people who,
to solidify
forgot,
it and
but,
to close it out.
4 set points to each team will mean a shoot-off, so that's
All right, so that's a good recovery.
Solid 10,
That's
keeping
what we're
the
looking
keeping
for
the
here.
first 3 arrows
I'd love to see a
close.
shoot-off every once in a
Yeah, they're still within 1. All they need to do is tie over 6 arrows in order to win outright.
Have this all in their own hands. If they were
Um,
to shoot 3 10s now, we would have that shoot off.
So not great. But India has got to feel better going after 3 arrows, having the lead, I think, for the first
Interesting here
time
is
maybe
there's
ever
not
this
really,
match.
Much difference in technique when you see them get a bit nervous. And that goes for all of the 6
Oh.
archers. So
That was a
far.
good-looking shot.
I haven't seen any grave mistakes.
It's all right.
being
Sometimes those are
made.
in, sometimes out. You want to finish with a 10 here. 57 is pretty strong. 56.
I mean, there's a lot of good shots there, just a hair out of the 10 from India.
If they can
Um,
match their first rotation.
Don't want to finish on 3 nines and leave that door open when you know that, like, you stumbled a little bit early on, but you have the ability to totally win this match, even though China's been shooting really good. Little leak.
Those 3 nines from India.
10-9 to win.
All of them pretty close to the 10, but
And obviously be focusing on
touch of the
XX
lines,
to
and left this open
win and make a statement.
for China.
Nice.
That's a solid
Way to
shot.
come back
Real
after a couple
confidence
nines.
booster. A
So
guy-
9 will win it. They've had almost nothing out of the
Two
goal this whole
tie
match,
set
so
gets
that
the
does
single
look
set
like
point
they're in a
for
pretty
victory.
good spot here. A little bit of pressure on this last shot.
Has it
Just got to zone out and let it happen.
Oh, what?
And he did not.
Lean a little bit. Oh my gosh.
Well, the long hold from Wei.
That's tough. You got to be ready
producing
for that.
their
That's
first arrow
not an
outside
easy
the
shot to
goal.
make by any means, but you want to be focused on
Gives
the
sorry,
ideal
second arrow
placement, the
goes
ideal
target
execution, the
faces
ideal flow to
clean.
get that thing dead center,
3 arrows per
and that
team.
gives you the most margin
Raw
for
score
whatever
first.
else is happening.
If they're tied,
And now
it's about
both
the closest
both,
arrow to the center of the target.
teams have faltered a little bit and had to pick themselves back up. So this is it.
First
Last end. China to start.
on the shooting line.
A little quick.
So,
Good.
so starting off your shoot off with the X, that's definitely got to give you a little bit of confidence.
Oh, this is shoot off. Oh, shoot.
As
Okay.
before mentioned,
3 arrows.
Even if they have a
And
tight
that'll
score, they
definitely
just go
play well for
closest
closest to the
and then
center
it's nice to have an
measurements.
X on
It
the board.
will.
Atanu Das.
Oh, a little
That
long.
did not look like
Dang
a
it.
great shot. It's a 9 though. I mean, score wise, it's not horrible.
Yeah.
Advantage China.
Forgot about this alternating shooting for team round shoot-offs. This guy send a message, close it out. Nope. 9.5 is good. But if India matches with a 10 here,
This is a
then
big
we
arrow
have some other pressure shots.
for the 21-year-old Dhiraj Bommadevara.
These guys are probably hearts beating. Oh, that'll work. That'll work.
He's in there.
Okay, okay.
So as it's
Now it's all up to the anchors. We'll see how they can do.
This guy, he's got to come back. He's got to shake off what he's
Redeem
doing.
yourself from that last end. Shoot a great smooth shot.
Take some good breaths, visualize what you're doing, and just flow towards that aiming spot.
Giving China.
That looked like it was a more comfortable shot. It's a
Okay.
9.
Oh, into the
It's
nine.
not a
Not
bad
bad,
shot.
yeah.
You really need a 10 there though.
India have a
10 to
chance
win
here.
for India after all
Most
this,
experienced
after
man
all that's
on the
happened.
team, Tarundeep Rai on the shooting line.
a little bit of a wobble there.
And that is going to go to closest to the
Dang
center.
it.
And China takes it.
A little too much to get it into the middle.
Oh, 10 or
So
nothing.
despite
They
the
just
scores
had to
being
nick the
equal, that
line.
very
I just had to
first
hit the
arrow,
line.
from Li Zhongyuan
Dang it. Well, I do
winning the
think
entry
for sure
is enough
China way more
for the win
consistent.
for China.
Their middle shooter
To the circuit for the first time.
cleaned everybody by far. Best
Crushing.
shooter of the match.
Crushing.
Had some stumbles, but nothing major. India obviously had a terrible second end. Took them 2 ends to get dialed, and that was even with almost even taking that first set, which they were kind of gifted a little bit. But oh my gosh, that was a great match. It looked like it was a runaway, and then we got to see a lot from these archers.
Came back to be a little closer, and you can't help but wonder what role those very aggressive sunglasses played in that match. Just a little confidence.
The margin of error or the margin of victory is so small
Every little
Yeah.
bit helps.
that sometimes there's a fashion factor or coolness factor, confidence factor that comes with just great eyewear. And I think China won that part of the match today, definitely ahead of India. So a real nail biter, a real back and forth, huge momentum swings. We got to see a lot from all the archers, especially the anchors in this match. So if you guys are shooting anchor for your team, you need to watch this match and put yourself mentally in those situations, because that's exciting shooting to be able to to be in those situations.